Welcome to Last Time Online. This episode is brought to you by Dogma Games, my very own game studio. I'm currently working on my first game called Wake Out of Twilight. Wake Out of Twilight is a 2D platformer game based in a futuristic dystopia where nearly all parts of life are automated. Life couldn't get any easier, but the price to pay was more than anybody agreed to. Navigate through traps, obstacles, and puzzles in order to save everybody from the nightmare. If you would like to be the first to know when I have updates or when the game is releasing, you can go to Steam and wishlist the game. Now, let's get on with the episode. What's up, gamers? Welcome to Last Time Online. That's been a while since I messed that up. This is the nerdy podcast online where nerds talk about nerdy things. I am George, and today we are joined by Jonathan.
What's up?
And Justin.
Greetings.
And Alvaro.
Let's be all poetic and lose our minds together.
And then to start off our nerd report, I'm normally the one that starts it off. And basically last week, I basically killed myself over trying to finish my game demo, which is out right now. It's called Wake Out of Twilight. You guys probably just watched an ad for it, but it's called Wake Out of Twilight. The demo is out right now on Steam, and there's been a few people that have played it, but I need much more. I need everyone. If you have the capacity, if you have a computer, it'll probably run on a really old computer. I don't know. I would say that it runs on like your old Windows Vista or whatever.
Pentium 2.
Yeah,
i5.
Yeah. Realistically it runs on people's phones, but there's only a Steam version right now, just so I can keep all the feedback together. But I need as much people to give feedback as possible. Need as much people to file bugs as possible. And then your fix might change. Your feedback might change the whole game in the future. So yeah, I think that's something that's kind of cool. So I'm asking you guys to go play my demo. It's out there right now. Other than that, let's see. As soon as my demo released, I sat back and I rested, and I took that time to just play a shitload of games. I played the freaking Weeb Naruto Shinobi Strikers on PlayStation Plus because it was free on PlayStation Plus. I've been playing that. I tried out Outer Worlds, which I'm really liking so far, and I'm gonna keep playing that. It has a space Skyrim Fable vibe actually, which seems like a great mix to me. So I'm gonna keep playing that, and also some more Roller Champions. And that is basically what I've done in the last week. And I still haven't finished Obi-Wan Kenobi, but I will in the next week. And I hope that we can all talk about that next week, either in the podcast or the side show. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And that's the end of my nerd report, and we'll move on, and we'll go Jonathan next.
Well, this week I spent way too much time at Home Depot.
House stuff?
House stuff. Trying to get myself a washer and dryer, so I don't have to drive to my parents' house to do laundry. Besides the Home Depot, I did some more TV show cleanup. I finished watching The Goldbergs this week, the most current season, which I wish it was the last season. And not that it's bad, but it's just like they're really stretching it to I think this is the 10th season or 9th season.
Wow, so you're committed now. You have to finish it at this point.
Yeah, it's not really bad, but it's just like the pacing changed about halfway through the show. Where I think in the beginning Adam Goldberg started out in middle school, and now he just graduated high school in the finale of the season, and his senior year was 2 years, and so the last 4 seasons have stretched out between a year, so each season was 2, or each year was 2 seasons. So these guys are looking old. I I was looking for other stuff to watch, and I started watching a new anime called. It's called Aoshi. It is a soccer anime, and it's really good. And I've been watching Demon Slayer, the most recent season. I rewatched the Mugen Train arc, and I watched the movie twice, once subbed, once dubbed, and then I watched the arc, and every time it finished, it still like gets me.
Yeah, I think
It's so
that
good.
that show is slightly overrated, but I would say
A
like
little
that
bit.
arc is, I would say that arc is definitely the best the show has to offer. The Mugen Train arc.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's really good. I really like their animation art style, and I like the characters, and the story's pretty good. It's not like 100% like original stuff, but it's enjoyable. Yeah, but yeah, the Mugen Train arc is probably the best. I'm just started the entertainment arc. I'm only like 2 episodes in, so I can't say anything for that. I should be finished with that by the end of the week, and I think I'm gonna try and watch Critical Role and finish watching the Critical Role animated show, because that's also a show I need to finish watching.
It's pretty
Is
good.
that the Vox Machina one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I need to see that one too actually.
I watched it when it first came out, and it was it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I heard nothing but good things about that show. That's one I should put on my list.
It's I mean, I know everything that's happening because I actually like listened to the entire first 2 campaigns, but they do a really good job of like condensing it, and the art, and it's very violent.
Very.
So,
Nice.
but yeah, good. It's real. If you've never like taken any of the story, it's a good like jumping off point, because like Justin kind of knew some of it, but not really, and like I've seen parts, and because of stuff that happened like off camera for Critical Role, they kind of reworked some of the story and cut out stuff, because at the beginning of the show there was a Dragonborn actor, but he only made it through like 23 episodes, and there was drama, so he was gone. So they completely cut out his character and all his arcs. So it skips a bit, but it doesn't really hurt the story at all. Yeah, that was my week.
All right, cool. And making our rounds, how about Justin?
I feel like I've actually done a lot this week. It's been like a catch-up week. I finished the Stranger Things new season and realized I hate Kate Bush.
Which one's Kate Bush?
I know that. I understood that reference.
It's the damn song that's going all over the internet because nobody ever has heard of that song before of that show.
No, the internet has a way of ruining stuff.
Yeah, if you watch the show, you know what I mean. Alvaro knows what I mean because
you don't even need to. I haven't even seen the most recent season. It's all over TikTok.
Yeah, so it's I watched that. Actually, even though I don't care for Star Wars, I actually am caught up on Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You watched the whole thing?
I just gotta watch today's episode. I took a nap when I got home instead of doing.
Okay. Nice, cool. We can talk about it next week. That'd be cool.
What else did I do? Oh, I got the Ninja Turtle game.
Oh, how's that?
That is very fun. April O'Neil, secret. She slaps. Or as in our friend Argyle said, he had smacks, man. But no, she's actually great. Like, I haven't really played the story mode because I was playing it with Alexis, but then I just not randomly, but I played the arcade mode and just beat it on the arcade mode the other day. So I have Casey Jones now, I believe.
Ooh.
So now we were able to play with Casey Jones. What else did I do this week? I know I did a lot, but I don't remember what I did. I think that I don't remember what else I did this week. It's been a full week, and I know I did a bunch, and I just don't know what.
Yeah, I
I kind
understand
of
the
remembered
feeling.
earlier, but I played your demo and realized you hate people in the world.
Oh yeah, why is
Yeah.
that? Can you explain to our listeners why?
Okay. So I was playing this demo, and I was like, there was a point where I was like, man, this has to be a bug, but you have to be very, very precise on your jumps and your movements, and I'm just like, all right. But I ended up beating the demo. It was fun. It is a little challenging, um, but if people aren't into the challenging, then they're in for a rude awakening. I think I beat it with like 80 deaths, and I'm like, I felt accomplished because there was
80?
one. Yeah,
80 is low compared to what I've heard. Actually,
yeah.
I've heard I've heard 3 people, and they're in like the 200s or like near the 200s at least. So yeah,
Yeah, there was.
200s.
you got off easy.
Okay, so there was a part where I thought, like I said, I thought was a bug, but it was just you had to be super like specific, and I almost put in a bug report, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can do this, and then I got it after like I think like 8 deaths, and I was like, all right. It was
8? You thought it was a
yeah.
bug after you died 8 times? That's it.
Well, no, because every time I would jump, it was like I was like, dude, there's no way this beam is too close. But I would have to. I don't. I remember where it was at. I think I ended up beating it twice. I played it twice.
Some of the spots I'm like wondering if I should like make it easier or if I should leave it like that. I'm like kind of split. There's like one part specifically that was it in the beginning of the game that you thought it was a bug?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah, I think I know what you're
right
talking
after
about.
the second. It was right after the second, and then I got to the elevator part, and I was like, okay, George really hates people, because that part was a little tough too.
It's a platformer game, right? People have to feel like, you know, I like platformers because it's like the TikTok version of video games, right? Because like, you just complete levels like level by level, like in like short little bite-sized pieces, you know. But,
yeah.
But yeah, cool. I'm glad that was like a little short review for the listeners out there. If you can beat it in under 80, Justin likes to brag that he's the best at everything. If you can get it in under 80 deaths, give us a shout out.
Yeah.
How long did it take you time wise?
I think like 30 minutes. So there was a part where I kept losing my cursor and I kept clicking off screen.
Oh,
but
okay.
So I was gonna talk to you about that later, but
you could file that, because I could probably fix something like that.
Yeah, because I kept like you know when you go to shoot your little blast, or I kept to go shoot and I would click off screen, and so my thing kept going down. So
okay.
Man,
you just thought you just let me release the whole game without telling me anything, huh?
hey, I figured I'd let you know in person. But yeah, I think that's it. I felt like I did more this week. I just can't remember what I did, and it makes me sad.
All right. Oh man.
Yeah, well, we can come back if you can like slip it in like after when we're talking about like our topics today. But we will move. Yeah. Hey, we'll move on to Alvaro. Close it up for us.
My week was mostly spent partying because it was my
Nice.
sister's birthday,
Very
and
nice.
because of course all her friends being adults, we can't all get one place at one time. We had to spread it out. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I just felt like Slurms McKenzie. I was just so tired of partying. But it was a good time. Friday night, because I gave her Just Dance for her birthday, so we were doing that all night. I was dominating, of course, because that's what I do. And so after that, I figured I'd take a break. So Sunday, I spent all day playing Uncharted on Crushing, and I beat it. Yeah, that game is a nightmare on the highest difficulty. I forgot about that. But I got it done. I'll probably do the rest of the trophy cleanup later. I did finish the quarry on Monday night. Spent all day after work doing that, so that's done. I hated my ending because I killed Brenda's song, and she was like the one I was trying to keep alive. So like, yeah, so that was disappointing. And it's like so inharmonious. Like it's suddenly just like you mess up once and it's done.
it's unsatisfying deaths. Those
Yes,
random
exactly.
ones.
I hate it. I hate it. It's like just so out of nowhere.
Is she the main character? Because like
Um,
I mean, they have the ensemble cast like in what was the last one?
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn, but Hayden Panettiere was
Yeah.
obviously like the main of the group.
I don't know if there is a lead. She is more of like the leader, like sort of like definitely tells people what to do and stuff. But like, I feel like every character has their fair share of screen time.
Is she Jason?
And who is the one that we want to kill but won't die?
Oh, I don't know. Probably like the annoying people.
Is there? I mean, because Until Dawn had what's her name from Superstore. She was like the colossal bitch, like, and she was kind of hard to kill in the game. So I don't know if there's any.
I mean, I wasn't trying to kill anyone on purpose. I was trying to keep them alive as much as I could, but
yeah.
You messed
but
up.
I remember the articles where people are like trying to kill her off, and like she just wouldn't die, like she just kept surviving.
I would think it's by design, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, that's done. I don't know if I'll go back and play that again. It kind of takes its time. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. And then right after that, thanks to PlayStation Plus Premium, I downloaded the Messenger, which came out like 4 years ago, but I'm finally getting around to it.
Oh, that's what you told me.
Like it's a throwback to the old like 8-bit Ninja games like on the Nintendo and stuff, and it's really damn good. Like, it's probably one of the funniest games I've played in a long time. Like, the writing is really, really good. Like, the characters, like, I'm impressed at how much character it has, how much personality it's got. And I'm only like an hour and a half in. Like, it's really made an impression. I'm kind of like kicking myself for not playing it sooner. Other than that, season 7 of Rocket League started, so I'm chipping away at that one. And then obviously Fall Guys got its new update, and we were playing last night, checking out the new levels.
Yeah.
And did you get a dub? You did, right?
Me? George? Yeah. I remember. I was with Lewis. Remember when we were in the same finals together, and then he was like, he was a runner up, and I ended up winning, I think, something like that. Which was fair. Which was fair because I think Lewis already had like 2 dubs earlier that night. So. Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than that, I have Ambulance from Gamefly coming in. So hopefully that's cool.
The movie or?
Yeah, the movie.
Oh, okay. I was shook. I didn't know.
The new Michael Bay classic that nobody watched.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, Gamefly is still a thing?
Yeah. Yes, that's how I'm playing anything these days. Like, I didn't like last year I didn't rent a single game because nothing was coming out, so I just rented movies. That's how I watched most of my stuff. But yes, other than that, that's my week.
All right. So, okay, we'll move into our topics then, and we just mentioned Fall Guys, and so we could talk about how Fall Guys has its PS5 update and its whole new. They kind of redid their whole business model, I guess. It's now a free-to-play game, and they offer a season pass. I think they call it a season pass. Some people know it as a battle pass, but that's their new business model now. And what I would like to say about it is I dislike how they removed the option to play with your friends through the PlayStation Network. Everything is required through. You have to party up through Epic Games now, which was like a real problem. And actually, it was like totally bugged on the PS5 version, huh? Like
Yeah,
actually
join anybody.
Now that I think about it, they released the PS5 version, and I still haven't played that yet. I actually just realized that right now. I was playing the PS4 version with you guys the whole night. But yeah, Justin, which platform did you end up playing Fall Guys on?
I played on my computer.
And
I realized
You don't want to play on Switch?
I don't have the Nintendo thing, so
I
don't know if I could play online.
That's right. I don't think so.
So I played on my
computer.
Free-to-play
games on PlayStation are free online for anybody.
Sponsor. No, I played on the computer, And then when I played on the computer last time, when I played on Anthony's account that one time, he was using a controller, and then I realized I suck with the controller. And then yesterday when I played with the keyboard, because at first I was like, you know what, this might be really difficult, but it's not. I was a god.
You need to hold up a second there. I'm the grab meister in that game. Okay.
Hey, for not playing very much, I think I played like maybe like 8 games. I did very well, and I'm just like, all right. But I got one win, and then I was like, all right, it's time to end it on a dub, and then I logged off. But I do like some of their maps. Like I like the race map. I don't know. That one's just simple, and you're running around, and I don't know, it's fun.
I know what you're talking
about. The one
with
with the speed boost?
Yeah, the one with the speed boost. Yeah.
We were making comments yesterday that it felt like I don't know, like Diddy Kong Racing and stuff, like like just hitting the boost like the whole way through the race. Yeah. Fall Guys has a lot of potential. Like it's like I think the developers can get really creative and just they keep surprising us like with new like types of levels that we didn't know they could do, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Oh, I will say I played the volleyball one. That one is not easy. That one is not easy on a keyboard. I will give you that one. That one was a lot harder. I kept like scoring on myself, so I super lost that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and the ring one. I didn't like the ring one either, but that's just because I wasn't used to the jumping, and I kept getting bumped off, and I'm like, But I felt like the game was really oversaturated with new players, so maybe that's why I did so well, if that makes any sense. Because like I would play and it'd be like everybody would look the same, and then I could hit tab and I could just see everybody from console and everybody from computer and everybody from everyone.
You know, I think that's a phenomenon that I also kind of noticed too. Like it seems like later in the night, like people start getting better, especially because they're new levels, right? It's not necessarily that they're bad players, but I mean, there was that one level where you had to like basically run in circles around this ring that was like moving, and there was like obstacles, and there was a fan trying to blow you off.
One was easy. That one was so easy.
Yeah, but like, what I'm trying to get at though is like I think like the first 2 or 3 times that we played that level, we basically lasted long enough to get like one lap around, and then by that time 8 people would about like get eliminated already, right? And then the last time we played it, like we made like 3 or 4 times around. We're like, damn, people are getting good at this level all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I remember.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I remember I played that one and I did the same thing. I went one lap and I was like, and it said qualified. I was like, damn, that was fast. But yeah, I agree.
Well, before we move on to like I guess our next topic, let me do some quick marketing for Fall Guys. We play Fall Guys all the time, and we are just short of having enough players to have like private parties. And so if any of our viewers would ever be interested in playing private parties with us, we would love that. That'd be sick if we can get like a little community going and like all have like private parties of Fall Guys going.
How many players do you need?
I think I could possibly be wrong, but I thought it was 8. I thought 8 what you needed, and it sucks because like 4 people is like the max party size, but you can group up for more if you want to do private parties, which is it's either 4 or like 8 and above. So like when you have like 5, 6, or 7 people that want to play together, it kind of sucks because then we get people left out, you know.
Yeah.
With their hand on the window.
Yeah. Hello. That was me yesterday. I was playing by myself.
Yeah. You weren't playing with Anthony?
No, he played one and then he fell asleep.
Of course. Of course.
It's not surprising.
Or went to sleep.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yep. And I guess we could move on to the next thing, which what do you say? Like we could talk about like the Final Fantasy stuff that got announced. I've only played one Final Fantasy, which was like the Tactics one. So I'm not the best person to speak on it, but after seeing like what I saw, like I guess a reasonable amount of the show, and they're releasing a lot of stuff, and
Yes.
it's like at least half of it looked really interesting that I might play. I mean, it's a lot, but Final Fantasy on mobile is a win for me. I don't know why I'm like more open to mobile games right now, but I am, and yeah, and like some of the newer, like the more recent stuff. I think I want to end up playing Final Fantasy more often because every time I try to listen to like video game music on like Spotify or something like that, Final Fantasy is like one of the top recommended, I guess, suggested songs. So I think I want to experience that. But anything interesting that you saw from the show, Alvaro?
Yeah, the remake for Crisis Core.
Mhm.
That looks really cool. That was previously a PSP game. I had no idea they would even touch that one ever again. So I think they're just trying to complete. Well, I mean, other than milking the franchise or the series, that single game of Final Fantasy VII,
Yeah.
like they're really trying to give people like the complete experience, which is very interesting. Because previously Square would not even like look at their older stuff, and now with like I think the success of remake has really made them like go back and reconsider like, hey, maybe people actually want maybe we'll remake 8 or 9 or 6 or whatever. So
When you say successor
um,
remake, do you mean of their game specifically, or do you mean just like in
Final Fantasy
general?
7 remake,
Yeah. Okay.
Final Fantasy 7 remake itself, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
'Cause that came out 2 years ago on the PS4, and then now it's on PS5 and it's on PC.
Mhm.
And just released on Steam last week on Friday. And then they showed the trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, which is the subtitle Rebirth, which we didn't see a whole lot of, but we did see it running like on Unreal Engine 5, and it looks pretty damn good. That's supposed to come out next year as the the other Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out this winter. The next one comes out the winter after that, so probably 2024, at the latest, somewhere like February, January. But
I think it'll probably come out in like November. I think that's
instead of winter, November's not winter.
November's winter. What are you talking about?
November's not winter.
Technically
December is
not.
winter.
December is winter.
Yeah.
December to March is winter.
Solstice.
Yeah.
The end
That's
of
when the Fire
November.
Nation doesn't
It
attack.
counts.
That's if you believe the astronomers.
And for Crisis Core, they did. It's not just like a half-assed thing. They really
No, they went all the way,
they went
which is
full
surprising.
up top to bottom remake. Yeah, a lot. That was the thing that was surprised a lot of people was they didn't just like port it over and give it a shiny coat. Like they really did update it.
Like Bethesda.
And they had those couple of mobile games that actually didn't look half bad.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that's gonna all fit together.
So what made them choose to remake? You said Final Fantasy remake was 7, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
What made them choose that one to be the first one? Is that like widely known as like their best Final Fantasy, or
It's
Everybody
the most
loves
popular.
that's the
Yeah.
most
It's
popular
definitely
one?
the most well known.
It's not the best one.
Everybody loves Cloud.
It's the one that's more well known of all of them. And then they did a trailer like in 2005, 2006 for the PS3, just to see how like their technology would run, and they
Yeah.
used Final Fantasy VII as a backdrop. So ever since then, people have been wanting an HD remake, I guess.
Yeah. It's Final Fantasy VII for all its hype is it's iconic because of just the time that it came out, PS1 era. It was the first Final Fantasy that was in full 3D.
Right.
Nobuo Uematsu like crushed the soundtrack, and he went like full orchestra and guitars, and so like that's kind of my when I talk about Final Fantasy VII is like this when it came out, it was a complete like new experience. no one in previous game generations have played anything like that, and I think that's why so many people like latched onto it. But I do think there are better ones, but that is a debate for another day.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of the ones that were shown, and Final Fantasy VII Remake, which two do you think would you guys recommend to introduce myself into Final Fantasy?
Like just in general, Final Fantasy?
No, like out of like the new games that Square announced, and including Final Fantasy VII Remake. Basically, like the new.
Well, all the games that were Final Fantasy VII universe.
Yeah.
They're all just like.
Oh really?
Like one of the mobile games. One of the mobile games was like a Final Fantasy VII, like PvP game, and then the other one was like.
And they all had like a different
a story,
right?
Yeah.
I get it.
But I mean, you're gonna want to play. Obviously, you're gonna want to play Remake. And Crisis Core is a prequel, though, right? A prequel, like kind of. So I mean, maybe when it comes out, that one will be the one you want to start with.
I would say Remake first, and then.
Yeah, and then go back, and then Rebirth, and then. Maybe the third one will be like Resurrection.
Okay.
Keeping
so
that RE.
I'm a Final Fantasy noob then. So like Rebirth and the what's Centric Core or something like that?
Crisis Core.
So it's Remake, Crisis Core, and then Rebirth. Rebirth won't come out until next year.
I thought I saw other ones too.
And there's also a very boring movie.
But they're all considered the spin-offs of spin-offs. That's what you would consider them.
Well, essentially, yes.
Like in the same universe.
Right? Remake is a remake. It's in that. It's in the name.
Right.
And then Rebirth, because
is a sequel.
Is a sequel because Final Fantasy VII is a really long game.
Oh, so it's like Final Fantasy VII 2.
And instead of making, so instead of making one like 500-hour game, they split it up into three games.
You're freaking scaring me. 500 hours, goddamn.
No,
I mean,
but one of them is 100 at least, right? That's what
Hey,
the original Final Fantasy VII was pretty long. Like I think it was
I didn't feel it was, but it's kind of long.
Didn't it have like 2 or 3 discs?
Yeah, it was a 3-disc game.
Was it
before Blu-ray?
On PS1, yes, it was 3 discs. I literally have it sitting right here.
Before Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I played it.
No, but Remake took me 100 hours to get 100%. So you could definitely do.
Yeah.
We wouldn't do too bad on that one.
I did not 100% it. I beat it in about 45 hours.
Yeah, that's usually average.
But like. I think we had a conversation about it like around the time when I first finished it. I go on record as I think Final Fantasy VII is overhyped, but the pacing for Remake is very good. Like I like each chapter. There's a combat chapter, and then there's an exploratory, and like everything just like flows really well. It doesn't feel that long.
Did it Final Fantasy VII Remake come out in like 2 parts? I thought when they originally released it was like
no, there was DLC.
It was like the first half or something.
Yeah, no. I mean, they meant to do it as a like a series, so that's why Remake and Rebirth are the first 2, and then there'll be another one after that.
Yeah. But then you're also gonna have Crisis Core, and then there's DLC. That's kind of like Intergrade, which is at the end. Well, I never played the DLC to be honest, so I don't know where.
It's good.
It's
after the game.
Okay,
it's better
so
that's
what I thought, but it's centered around Yuffie, who you don't
find yet. Yeah.
Until later.
She'll show up in the next one.
I'm curious for the second one, how far they will go, because I am not going to ruin it for George, but I feel like the end of the game will be that scene.
No, I think they do it early.
You think they'll do it early?
Yeah,
and then
I think they'll get it out of the way.
Because
in the trailer they talk about it.
Yeah, they did. I seen that.
So,
But I want like because there's other characters that I actually like more than the ones that you start with, like Kate Sith and
right.
you didn't get to play Red at all.
Red,
Um,
yeah.
and everybody's homeboy, what's his face?
The guy with the gun variant.
The super old guy. He's not old, but he was
Master
like,
Roshi.
trapped in the coffin. God damn, what's his name? I know you know what I'm talking about.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
It starts with a V.
Can't recall.
Let's say okay. Well,
Valentine.
Yeah,
Is it Valentine?
maybe.
And he also had his own spin-off that didn't do too well.
That was a PS2 game.
Yeah, they probably won't.
okay.
But if you wanted to play them, you play Remake first, and then DLC, and then Crisis Core, which comes out this year, and then Rebirth, which comes out next year.
We had Remake for free through PlayStation Plus. I don't know if you grabbed it.
All right.
But if you did, then you have a jump-off point.
Then
Played on
besides
Yeah.
like, so I really do want to like Final Fantasy. So say say other than Final Fantasy VII Remake, what do you guys think is the best modern Final Fantasy?
Modern?
Yeah.
Modern.
And by modern, I would say
I don't really like any of the modern ones, to be honest.
Yeah, they're very unpopular, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Say with okay, forget the modern part then. Like, what do you guys think is the best Final Fantasy?
Go play Tactics.
I play Tactics. I love
Tactics and Tactics Advanced.
Yes.
Are both really good. 1 and 2.
I
regular.
You
That-
could just skip. You could
that
just
was like
skip the game and just go watch the movie.
If we're talking about regular, because obviously I didn't have a PlayStation till PS. I mean, I had a PS2,
PS3.
but I didn't get a PS2 until almost the PS3 came out because I won my PS2 in a raffle, and I got a bunch of games. But it was like the smallest PS2, and
The tiny one, yeah.
Yeah, the tiny one. It's somewhere around here. It still works. I barely played it.
Didn't
but
they
that's
call
where I
that
got
one
my
like?
love.
Did they call that one like a
The
portable
Slim.
PlayStation 2 or something?
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's like
It's like 2 inches long.
it's probably as big as the Switch.
It looks like
it's thicker.
It looks like a
but,
Walkman.
Wide,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's where I got my love for Ratchet and Clank because I got the first two.
Some of our audience probably doesn't know what a Walkman is. Shame.
Well, no, I mean they do. They watch Guardians, right?
I was gonna say they've seen Guardians.
And
Okay,
Sony brought it back where you can buy the cassette version.
Digital now.
Yeah. I played a lot of the original, the first 6. So like my personal favorites, 6.
Okay.
Which was originally 3 on the Super Nintendo.
It's their last Sprite game.
It was the very last Sprite game.
Yeah, because you said 7 was the first 3D game, right?
Yes.
So 6 is a Sprite.
And
okay.
And 6 is like so like it's so big for a Super Nintendo game. Like there's a lot of moving parts, but it's so good.
So would you guys say that 6 is like in the style of like Octopath Traveler, where the combat's like turn-based?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is. And I wish we would get some sort of remake. I don't think they would ever like do a full blown like Final Fantasy VII. Like that would be really cool. I would want to see that how that would look in 3D.
I think that would take much more time.
Yeah, it would, because it would require a lot of reimagining. But at the very least, like the HD 2D like style, I would want to see it in that. My other favorite one is Final Fantasy IV.
Wow, that's way back then. So like the modern ones suck, I guess.
You played the DS though, right?
No, I played the original. I mean, I played the Super Nintendo ones on emulator, but I have also played it on the Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
Yeah, this I believe, if I'm thinking, because the numbering system for the Super Nintendo ones were really off. We had 1, which was 1, and then I believe 2
was
4, and then 3 was 6, because the other ones they deemed too hard for American gamers.
Wow.
Or so is the rumor, that those games were not brought over here because they thought they were too difficult for gamers at the time.
Holy crap. And
But
this
yeah.
is and this is why Americans don't make it into the nationals for like any game.
Yeah.
Or not nationals, but like the internationals.
I know if Anthony was
yeah.
here, he'd do some probably early PlayStation 1 or PS2.
I think he
Yeah.
likes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he likes 10 or 13. I don't.
Yeah,
remember.
10 is definitely a big one for a lot of people. Like
I've seen 10.
when I was in high school,
played,
everybody played 10.
Okay.
But for myself, yeah, 6 is definitely number 1, followed by 9. 9 and 6 are like right there. 9 is really damn good.
I heard.
I do have
okay.
I do have a soft spot for 8. It's not everyone's favorite, but
It's a little rough.
Yeah, I mean it's like it came out the year right after Final Fantasy 7. But you can definitely see like it's a big jump, honestly, just from 1 year apart. How like different they look, because like the Final Fantasy 7 on PS1 looks like Roblox, honestly, and then like they actually look like people on Final Fantasy 8. So it was a pretty big jump, and it has again the soundtrack just carries it. It's so good.
I'd say probably like the last most favorable one is probably 12.
Yeah, 12 is really good too. At least my sisters were telling me it's on my list. It's on my wish list.
Yeah, they just re-released it.
Yeah, the Zodiac Age. Yeah,
on
so
Switch.
it's on everything. It's on everything.
Yeah,
now.
it's on everything now. I remember when I was in high school when 12 came out, and we still had a thing called exhibitions where we would have to do group projects, and the project would be you take a piece of each one of your classes. So this project would encompass all of the subjects into a thing. They stopped doing it, I think, my sophomore year. But for I don't know why, but someone had Final Fantasy 12 like on a TV playing in the gym, and it was just weird. That was my first ever experience with Final Fantasy 12. But yeah, I think that one's the one that I do want to give a shot at, but I don't really know a lot about it.
I feel like
It's,
George, like 10 would be a good starting. Don't start 7.
I have seen a little bit of 10 played before. That's the one where they have that sport. That's the one with Waka Flocka, right?
Yeah.
That's Blitzball. Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's called Blitzball, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's Blitzball.
Yeah, I've seen that played.
There's lots of memes.
Yeah.
Just play 10. Don't play 10 too.
Is it fun, or is Blitzball fun?
I honestly don't remember, but
okay.
I'm sure you would find it entertaining.
I'm trying to find if that was like the first. I'm trying to see if like that was like the first water level that was like fun in video games ever.
I think,
oh, maybe.
I think there was another mini game that was in 10 that ate up a lot of people's time. I haven't really played it, but if my memory serves me correctly, I think that wasn't the only like game in there, side game that you could play.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to look up each of these, because you guys pretty much. I think the only Final Fantasy I didn't hear were like 13.
13, yeah.
14,
I never played it.
There's a 14, right? Yeah. 14
exists. It's an MMO. It's basically from what everyone tells me, it's the best one. I don't know about that.
The best.
I don't know.
Final Fantasy or the best MMO?
Yeah, people say it's the best one.
And it's as MMOs go, I know for a while it was like the number
Not
one.
The greatest. But yeah.
Well, yeah, it had a really rough start, and then they had a rebirth, and the story for in-game, the world literally got destroyed. Like in game and out of game, like they completely destroyed everything and rebuilt it, and like all the new expansions are like wildly popular to the point where they actually had to stop selling keys because the servers couldn't handle all the incoming new players. Yeah.
It's very popular.
So 11 and 14 are both MMOs. So those are the only ones. Yeah, 11 was the original MMO that was you could play it on the Shoot, I think you play that on the PS2.
Yeah, it was that's a PS2 game.
PS2 and PC.
One of the original PS2 online games was Final Fantasy 11.
I didn't even know about that game.
Yeah.
But,
Not a fan, but it's free to play if you want to play it. Like I played a little bit of Final Fantasy 14, and there's a lot. It kind of reminded me of it's kind of like Lost Ark. So like there's a lot to it.
I had fun with it. Like when I played
it's free to play. So if you want to play
I played the beta.
Yeah, you can play up to what? Up to level 20.
Level 60.
Level 60
Yeah,
now?
it's like level 60. It's like right
you can
before
do
the
most of the game.
Yeah,
most of the original game, because they have had 2 expansions, and I think like the most recent expansion is like probably the game at its best. So you gotta the original game is good, and then you have to, like, once you get through that, then you get the expansions, which are even better than the original game.
I know like a lot of the WoW people that I follow or just happen to see on Twitter play it, and it's a little different. Like I know like most games have like add-ons and stuff, to where like Final Fantasy, if you have any add-ons, they'll ban your ass instantly. So you got to get good, otherwise you can't play that game.
Question: does everyone that plays World of Warcraft have a MMO mistress?
Oh yeah. Oh well, a lot of the well, yeah, I think so.
Is that the new hotkey?
They're like, don't tell my WoW guild that I play Final Fantasy 11 or Final Fantasy 14.
There's like a lot of people that
lot of people left WoW for a little bit and played Final Fantasy because it was WoW was floundering and Final Fantasy was coming up.
I think that happens in any like long-term game like that, though. Like people will be like, oh, this game's coming out, I'm just gonna try it, and sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't, but it's just
I think it just happens with MMOs in general, because I mean, even when me and Justin were younger, we used to hop around from MMO to MMO all the time.
I don't know if you know, but a lot of the people who created the Final Fantasy when they were rebuilding it, they played WoW. Like the people who like were coming up with them, like their job was to play WoW and to make Final Fantasy better. Yeah. So they're like, okay, do what WoW does, but make it better. Don't fall into the flaws that they have. And so that's why a lot of people like it.
WoW's flawless.
It's there's a new expansion. Not to change the topic, but there's a new expansion that they leaked yesterday, and they just announced one. And they says it should be released by this year, and everybody's like, no, please don't do that, because they don't want a rushed expansion and a rushed game, and
For Final Fantasy?
No, for WoW.
For WoW.
Oh, the new expansion.
They opened pre-sales yesterday for the new one, and they said it should be up by the end of the year, and they just announced it like last month. So,
I mean, but when was the last expansion? It was like a few years ago, right?
2 years ago.
So it's not like they haven't been working on it.
That seems pretty short for a WoW expansion life span.
Yeah, this one's kind of short.
Well, the last one wasn't too well received. That usually happens.
I think WoW WoW players are just like hard to please nowadays.
Well,
for a long time.
You get a fan base old enough, then you're
Shit, it's been around for 20 years now, almost.
Yeah.
I can't, dude. I think I can't tell you how many people I hear saying that like World of Warcraft peaked at what was it? Was it the first expansion? I think the Burning Crusade.
Burning Crusade was grindy as hell.
Yeah,
they're all grindy.
Dude, everyone. Dude, there's
maybe
so
it's
many
just
people
because
that
I
just
didn't
say that's the best way.
I didn't grow with the game. Like I came back like way later. What was that one that I ended up buying? I played through it, Legion, and so I got WoW before Legion, and I played through all of the expansions. And my least favorite one was Burning Crusade. Like it sucked to play through that area, and I really liked Pandaria. That was probably one of my favorite. And I think the new one kind of reminds me of Pandaria, so that's why I think when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this looks cool."
Yeah, I was just trying to say that I think that people are just not going to be satisfied with it. Maybe the Blizzard PR team has a point. Like, Didn't at one point they said they were just gonna stop updating the game because like people were complaining too much? They said that at some point.
But I mean, like they're going back and they did the vanilla, and now they're doing
Yeah, don't they do WoW Classic?
yeah, WoW Classic, and now they're back up to Wrath of the Lich King, and they're taking those expansions and like improving them with like quality of life stuff and cutting out all the bad stuff that were put in the game originally.
The alpha for Wrath of the Lich King came out today. So Wrath is where I was really nostalgic because we didn't have a computer to play it for TPC. So I will probably be playing that. But yeah.
Okay, well, I think we have one more topic today that we could talk about, and I think Jonathan, you might be the only one that watched the Nintendo Direct that happened today. That was
this morning.
That was based around Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And for our listeners, and also me, and maybe Jonathan and Alvaro, but I don't know so much about that game. So, yeah, like, explain the game a little bit. Like, what's the franchise about? Is it a well-received franchise? And how big is it? Or, like, how was it, the presentation, I guess?
I don't know a lot about Xenoblade Chronicles myself. I haven't played any of the games. I watched it thinking, maybe this will be the one to get me to want to play it, because I'm not really playing anything right now.
And
and no, it wasn't. It had the characters look cool, like, but I feel like this is what's going to happen when they release the game. This is what the reviews are going to say. Like, it's a good game that's bogged down by so many systems. Like, there's so much going on in that game. Like, it looks really ambitious, but it looks like they're just trying to do too much. And like, there's numbers everywhere, and then there's like 8 main characters that you can swap. I mean, that's not a lot of characters because you have like Suikoden on that had like so many. But
what kind of game is Xenoblade Chronicles though?
It's an RPG.
It's a JRPG. The combat looks cool, and it kind of reminds me. I don't want to say Monster Hunter, because I think Monster Hunter actually is more refined and actual like real time tactics, but the combat that they're going for, it's a really open world. You're running around killing monsters. There's small ones and big ones, and you can go into like these huge cities and talk to people and do find out about them. And they showed this thing where it's like the city, and it has like all the people in the city, and there's like a flow chart where you can see how each character is connected to each other. Like, there's just pictures of characters with their names and then lines going everywhere. Which, I mean, it might be interesting, but it's just a lot. You can control the time of day, and like there's transformations, and like essentially they kind of go over the story where it's this world where everybody's like constantly battling, and every person only they essentially live for like 100 years, but they only live for like 10 years at a time. So like each person has like 10 cycles of 10, and so when they hit 10 years old, they'll die and like reborn, and then their final cycle is on their 10th cycle, and then they'll just like break apart into mist and return to like the spirit mother or whatever. It looks a little. It's a lot. It's a lot. I don't think it's gonna be a bad game. I don't think it's gonna be a bad game. It's just, it doesn't look like it's for me, and I don't. The first game.
It sounds like a life-sucking game.
It looks like. I mean, if you're, it's very crunchy. It is very, very crunchy game. There's gonna a lot of gameplay mechanics going in there that is gonna require mastery, but I think people that want to put time into it it will be rewarding, hopefully, but I don't know how it compares much to the first two games because like that I haven't played them. But I know for Xenoblade Chronicles, it was kind of like it's made by Monolith Soft, so like they have like a pedigree that people follow around.
Yeah,
when they used to make games on the PlayStation.
It does.
Is this Nintendo's biggest game this year? Since Zelda got pushed.
Right now, yeah. That's why everybody wanted a regular direct because we have the big games that we know about is Xenoblade and Splatoon 3. And actually they pushed forward Xenoblade and pushed back Splatoon. Because it was,
so they moved it around the calendar?
Yeah. Right. If this was supposed to be when Splatoon 3 came out, and so they pushed that back to later.
The fall.
Later summer. I think it comes out in like August. Okay. But maybe it might be Q3, like early Q3.
It seems like what you said about Xenoblade. I mean, it sounds like an interesting game. It doesn't sound like something I have time for though. But
no.
I would imagine that it has like a pretty big following though, based on what you said, because it does sound like a game.
It has a cult following.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo's really trying to push. But if my history is correct, there was 3 games that were made on the Wii that were only for Japan, and they never came out here, and people like petitioned hard to like get them over here, and I believe Xenoblade Chronicles was one of them. And I do know like Monolith, they have the one that they're known for before Xenoblade Chronicles is Xenosaga. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I think I have.
PS1?
PS2. According to this, PS2. And Xenosaga is very Xenosaga is also a very big game back in the heyday. So I think that was also one of the reasons why people were so looking forward to Xenoblade Chronicles, was because of Xenosaga and the pedigree that Monolith Soft has. But I guess we'll wait. We'll find out and see how it's received. I know the first one overall is probably like a low B, and then the second one was actually an improvement. So it could be an improvement on 2 and be like that big game that gets people into Xenoblade, but I doubt it.
Are they each individual games? Like they don't have they don't follow the story, right?
I think they all have. For sure, 3 has different protagonists than because the first one's Shulk.
No Shulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
if you do have the amiibo for Shulk, you can scan it and get his sword in the game.
Speaking of Nintendo releases, I thought wasn't there like a Fire Emblem that came out this year, or is that is coming out?
That just came out.
Yeah, Fire Emblem.
Wouldn't that be bigger? I thought that was a pretty big franchise.
Hoped.
It's pretty hyped. I do kind of want to play it, but it's a kind of
it's a Muso.
Yeah, it's a Warriors game.
So yeah, it's not a tactical one.
But
it's like a main line.
It connects to three houses, and that was also a really big game for Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I kind of forgot about that. That actually just came out, and you can play the demo, and play a portion of the beginning of the game. Yeah. People are loving that up.
Yeah, I mean that would be the game that I would try out if I had a Switch, over Xenoblade Chronicles and Splatoon. Actually, Splatoon looks fun too.
See, they're not releasing a Xenoblade Chronicles demo, and I think they I think they should, but maybe it's the type of game that they think people will get scared away by because it looks pretty
It's a
daunting.
lot. You need like a 10-hour demo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's the type of game where
we all know
if
Jonathan
you,
likes them long demos, though, right? So he can
Yeah.
get the most out
I
of it.
mean, yeah, if you are the type of gamer that can only get like one game every now and again, this might be the game to
Yeah,
get because
true.
you will pour a ton of hours into it. Otherwise, I don't think it's gonna have mass appeal. It'll probably still do pretty well because the Switch has a large player base. But it's good to get different things for different people.
Have you heard of oh my god, I just blinked on the name. It's like white something.
Neon White?
Neon White, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was reviewing real well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like really good. People have been telling me to buy a Switch to play that game.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
That's
but is Neon White only on the Switch though?
Yeah. Right now, as far as I know, it's Switch and maybe PC, but
It's
I don't
on
know for sure
Steam,
about
yeah.
Switch. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that was one of the games that was on the
Direct,
Summer
right?
Games
The previous
Fest.
one?
It was in the summer. Well, it wasn't in Direct like a long time ago, but it got like it was in Summer Games Fest, and it had a lot of people like buzzing about it, and the developers were just happy people were talking about Neon White because everyone kind of forgot about it.
Yeah.
It's 10% off on Steam right now.
But what I've been told, it's a mix between Celeste and an FPS. So if you like Celeste,
Dude, I'm freaking what? I'm sold. What the hell? Celeste.
and the soundtrack is.
It has like
the
a card
soundtrack's supposed to be a
combat system,
banger.
right?
Oh, I don't know about that, but it's supposed to be a banger of a soundtrack too. So I'm very curious about it. I kind of wish I had a Switch, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to buy one.
And also George, I believe it's a very like from what I heard was the level structure. They're like really quick, short levels.
Yeah, it's very like
so
it's like very time trial.
It's snappy.
Yeah,
that's how my game is, and I got it from Celeste because I remember Celeste is like if you were good,
indie darling.
If you were good, you can complete a Celeste level in seconds, and there was basically like I think Celeste said they had like 400 or 500 levels. So it's like basically like all these short levels that it's kind of it's a quick loop, right? Like you fail, but if you're good, you can like have that success really quickly too, and you feel good after each level. So yeah, so I mean if that's what Neon White is about, I've seen that online too, but yeah, I guess I didn't really see it. I just saw people were liking it. I didn't see like any gameplay or anything like that. So you guys have piqued my interest.
Yeah, it's just from what I've heard. It's supposed to be excellent game. So.
Damn. And it's considered an indie game, right? Indie games killing right now. Look at us trying to talk
about
these games, and then it all comes back to the indie games.
I mean the Ninja Turtles game that just came out is an indie game too, and it's supposed to be really good as well.
It slaps.
Yeah, it's so good. Like it hits the nostalgia like really in a really good spot.
I want to play it. I do want to play it.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys say? What do you guys? I'll probably get it on Steam if it's on Steam for 10% off right now. But what do you guys?
It's 10% off on PSN also.
On PSN?
Yeah,
or we're talking about Ninja Turtles right now. I thought we were
No, Neon
White is only 10%. Switch and PC.
Yeah, okay. 10% off, and you can also get the game with the soundtrack. It's like $31 for the game and the soundtrack, which is 11% off.
Oh, that's an expensive indie game, but I'll give it a try though. Yeah, hell yeah. But what do you guys say we close out this episode?
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay, everyone, thank you for watching this far. And if you're still with us, make sure to join us next time online when we all take the podcast from the Fall Guys Winners Podium.
Hey.
I've never won one.
Bye. Thank you for listening, but before you go, please make sure to like and subscribe to our show. And leave a comment with whatever thoughts you may have. We record a new episode of Last Time Online every week, so keep an eye out for the latest episode. From time to time, we stream on Twitch, so if you would like to see how we act while we are gaming, go over to our channel and give us a follow. We are sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby gives you the focus so that you can just be better at video games, all while having no jitters or crash. Click on the link in the description for a 10% discount on your orders on us. We love taking feedback from our audience, so if you have a question for us, you and your question could be featured in our next episode. Check links in the description for ways to reach us and also where to follow each of us on social media. See you next time online.